John Taylor, Marquette, Michigan is where I'm from. I'm on the autism spectrum. I was diagnosed when I was 7 in 1991. Early on, I got interested in advocacy mostly because of my experiences in the school system. For the longest time, I was the only student on the spectrum in my entire school district in the early 90s, and I wound up ultimately being homeschooled over severe bullying. I was beat up a lot. Quite seriously, I had to seek ER treatment after two of them. Hobbies, I like to draw. It took a long time to learn, but I like to draw on both pencil and ink and colored pencil. I like to read. And I play Dungeons and Dragons with friends every week. It's fun. I like to hang around like the local gaming stores in Marquette. Total nerd. I do various advocacy projects around my community, some with National Alliance on Mental Illness, others with whatever disability groups we have there. I serve as the vice chair of the Recipient Rights Advisory Committee at my mental health provider, but I'm not employed. I'm the consumer advocate as vice chair, so I speak out on behalf of the recipients of services, and I do feel included. It's unusual there because both myself and the chair both have disabilities. And so it's disability-led, and I'm very happy to see that. I was, at the very start, on the board of Self Advocates of Michigan, and I stepped back from that in about early 2018 for health and financial reasons. The travel was getting to me at that point. But I'm glad to be back, and I would say encourage ADA and handicapped accessible architecture. I know many businesses in my home city still can't accommodate a wheelchair, and even the most welcoming and diversity-minded places in the city, I've had friends that couldn't participate in events or sales because they couldn't get their chair all the way to the back of the store. And I would say I would really encourage people going forward to make sure all your architecture is ADA compliant. But just in general, a cultural attitude, people with disabilities are people. We're not children, we're not puppies. You don't have to talk down to us, we're your neighbors. Treat us like we're equal, and that's the key to inclusion. Something I hear from a lot of people is you don't look or sound disabled. That's because if I communicate well, it's because I was taught to communicate with proper supports. I don't have some of the same barriers as others in my community, but I still have some. My hand-eye coordination is very, very poor. It took me forever to learn how to shuffle a deck of cards, and some fantasy games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to be able to shuffle a deck without assistance to compete in the tournament. It's part of the rules, and I know many people who would be brilliant at the tactics for those games that don't have the manual dexterity to shuffle a deck unassisted. And so I do see some barriers like that, but nothing that's disqualified me from inclusion. I just like to see everyone else have that same level of success. Inclusion means to me removing systemic barriers to joining in activities in daily life and acceptance of a person for who they are without condition. That you deserve to be a part of your community. That you don't have to live to anyone else's standards. Don't feel like you have to apologize or mask who you are. Being yourself is the key to being accepted.